Game 7 coming up on Sunday. Golden Knights Stars tied at 3 wins apiece. Look at the series. Look at the numbers. Oh, so close. How this one plays out, we don't know. Let's drop the puck coming up in game number 7. We do know this. For Bruce Cassidy, the decision to go back with Adin Hill in game number 6, a lot of people were thinking maybe Logan Thompson. No, that was the right move. It proved to be the right move. No surprise, he's going to go back with Adin Hill game 7.
He has to now. He certainly made that decision. And you're right, he was paid dividends by making it early. And I wonder if getting Adin Hill in Game 5 was as much about getting him some game action before the Vegas Golden Knights face an elimination game of some kind. Get him one game when it's still tied. Regardless of what happens, then he'll be your goalie of record when the series is decided. And he's going to be the goalie of record. And you're exactly right. Looked like he was knocking off some rust in Game 5. In Game 6, he was rock solid, especially early. Dallas didn't generate a ton of chances, but when they did, especially early in the game, Adin Hill was there to stand tall. And you love the idea, if you're Vegas, that you're heading into a Game 7 elimination game, the guy who just won the cup. Like, he's been to the mountain, he's dealt with the most pressure you can possibly deal with, and he's in our net, and he's rounding into form. You'd love that if you're Vegas.
And I think that's what Bruce Cassidy saw. That's why he went to him right away. There was, from the outside, look at Logan Thompson, look at his numbers. There really wasn't even a reason to change. He was doing just fine. Coach Cassidy knows darn well to get over the hop, to get over the hill, he's going to need Adin Hill to get him to that championship. He's done it for him before. He's done it in the past. And like you said, he got him that game in. Now he's got the Game 7. And, of course, just like we've seen in every other Game 7, it's all about the goaltending.
Yeah, and when it comes to goals, historically, Game 7's usually low scoring. Case in point, just look at the one we have, Boston and Toronto. Dallas, no goals in game number 6. How do they generate some offense here in Game 7?
Dallas had one of the deepest, strongest offensive cores in the entire NHL. The strength was their depth. So you're not going to point necessarily to any one individual player, but you probably would look to some of the veteran guys. Guys who've been around. Yes, Wyatt Johnston's our leading goal scorer for the year, but, you know, he's been good in this series. But Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, Matt Duchene, Joe Pavelski, these guys who have been through big moments, been through tough games, been through the stress, you're going to look to them to be your leader, especially early to establish on home ice, we're going to be aggressive.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself, Johnny, right there. Those are the guys I was circling. Obviously, Roope Hintz is important. He's playing big minutes. He's going to do stuff away from the puck where you absolutely need. But, yeah, when it comes down to Game 7, all the emotions, everything that it goes through, you look at those veterans. And, yeah, I'm looking straight at Joe Pavelski, guys that have been there right there. Jamie Benn, those leaders, not only to go out there and just settle down the game, but to go out there and get him a lift by maybe getting that first goal.
Yeah, and you know, both teams know, this we just showed, the series is going to be tight. Like, at no point in Game 7 is anyone going to be comfortable at any moment. So you got to be ready mentally to deal with tie games, the entire 0-0s for a long time, whatever it might be, and still be able to play and not get tight. That can be a challenge, even for teams that are successful, as both these are.
If you're on the Dallas bench and you're looking for an edge, you look at the guy behind the bench who's sitting there. Pete DeBoer, 7-0 all-time in Game 7's home ice for Dallas. This is what you play for, Pears. Would you give the Stars the edge here in Game 7?
Well, I would love to say that the players can look at that and be like, oh, hey, we got this win. No big deal. Our coach is 7-0. That being said, I don't think that matters to the players on the ice at all, other than maybe to inspire them a little bit. If you're the Vegas team, you're like, hey, you know what? That's our old coach over there. Let's get that 0 to a 1.
Is there something to that number, though? Maybe just in-game tactician in Game 7's good under pressure, or is that just, hey, good teams, right moment, right time?
I would be inclined to see the latter. Probably good teams, you know, big moments. But eventually, you would have confidence. I mean, you know, coaching staff instills confidence in their team, the way they carry themselves, how they handle the media, how they handle the team in tight spaces. There probably is something to how he manages tight moments, overtimes, lines, matchups, ice time, all those different things. But, you know, as athletes, we will cling to anything, anything that's going to give us an edge, even if we have to make it up. And I'm with you. Like, I don't think anyone's going like, we got him. Look at our coach. We got him. Like, it's not the coach who's going to win the game. But if we can go to our pregame not saying, our coach has never lost, and we feel good about that, like, that is something we would try to cling to if, you know, and anything that might work. So we'll go for it now. Vegas, they have a brief history of Game 7. A couple of good results in overtime. That was that crazy one with the Sharks, right? That was the
incredible.
The 5-minute major
in that one as well. Yeah.
Joe Pavelski was involved in that one with the high stick, the big comeback. So it is interesting. The other concern about this series is, if you're Dallas, is feels like the longer it goes, the better Vegas is going to get. Whether it's Adin Hill running into form, whether it's Mark Stone smoothing himself out, whether it's Tomas Hertl getting a little bit more comfortable with everyone he's playing with, it just feels like as this series goes along, as the lines work themselves out, they just get a little more cohesive. And that's when Vegas is at their best.
They're leaders, that leader in their group. They just thrive off of it. Mark Stone, Peter Angelo, the more tension, the more excited they seem to get to play. And you're right, Vegas does get better. And hey, they're the reigning championship team right now, so they should be feeling good. They should be confident the further this goes. They can lean back and fall back on their success from last year, not just from years past where Dallas maybe has to fall back on. Vegas right now, the way things are looking, they can kind of settle into their game. And I think it'll be interesting because both these teams, their defensive structure, the way that they play, and yet the onus on scoring that first goal, how they'll be able to balance that, right, to contain the emotion of, like, we got to get that first goal. We've seen the stats in Game 7 for the teams that score the first goal, and you got to harness that emotion, but at the same time, where do these teams get there from? Good, solid defense, taking care of their own end.
Isn't it so fitting that we have a Game 7 with two teams that everybody thought when the brackets came out, like the one team that could win the Stanley Cup is going out in round 1. At least we get a Game 7 out of it.
And this has been a very tight series, great series, and probably worthy of two teams. This could be a conference final. Easily be a conference final. It's a first-round playoff matchup. But if you're asking me, I'd still rather be at home, and I think Dallas should be the slight favorite in Game 7.
What do you got?
I got Dallas. I picked Dallas to win earlier on in the series.
All right, stick to your guns on that one.